So this one's a very well documented, notable case in UFO history. This is the Kelly-Hopkinsville Encounter. Is also known as the Hopkinsville Goblin case. On August 21st, 1955, the Sutton family from Kelly, Kentucky, reported being terrorized by small goblin-like creatures that they believed to be extraterrestrial in origin. It began on a warm summer night in 55 when Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor, who was visiting the Sutton family residence, went outside to investigate strange noises they had heard. According to Sutton and Taylor, they were confronted by a small creature with large eyes, a pointed head, and long, spindly arms and legs. The creature was described as standing around 3 feet tall and having a metallic or reflective skin. 2 men panicked and ran back into the house, where they told the other occupants of the house, including Sutton's wife and his children, about the creature. The family quickly locked all the doors and windows and armed themselves with guns, expecting the creature to return. However, instead of one creature, they soon found themselves under attack by multiple creatures, upwards of 15. Which they describe as being similar in appearance to the first they had seen. The creatures reportedly began banging on the doors and windows and making strange noises, causing the family to fear for their lives. The family reported that the creatures were not human and had glowing red eyes. They also reported that the creatures emitted a high-pitched whining noise. The family held out through the night, firing shots at the creatures, but the bullets had no effect. The creatures continued to bang on the doors and windows, but eventually left in the early hours of the morning. During the encounter, the family also reported that the creatures had a distinct smell, described it as a burning sulfur smell. They also reported the creatures had a strange, hard skin, seemingly, that was almost mirror-like. The creatures had long arms, as they said, and legs, and they were able to move quickly and with great agility, despite their small size. It's worth noting that the Sutton's family account of the incident was consistent and detailed, as they stuck to their story even under intense questioning and skepticism. This, along with the evidence found by police, leads credibility to their claims of an extraordinary encounter. The next day, the Sutton family reported the incident to the police, who went to the Sutton residence to investigate. They found no evidence of the creatures or any damage to the doors or windows, but they did find evidence of bullets having been fired from inside the house out. They also found footprints that they said were of the size of a child's footprints all around the house. Family insisted the creatures were not human. The incident quickly gained national attention and became one of the most well-known cases of alleged alien interaction. The case was investigated by the military, the FBI, and private investigators. No concrete evidence was turned up to support the family's claims. One theory is that the family was suffering from hallucinations or mass hysteria, but this did not explain the showing up of the footprints. Some people said that what they encountered was a screech owl, which can get large and make the noise, but once again does not have the footprints that match that of a small human child. Another theory was that it was mischievous teenagers. They were playing a prank on them. But once again, none of them were found. There was no evidence of them being shot. And this was a family of hunters. Their aim was usually pretty true. Until they had passed away, none of the family members had ever changed their story. It remained consistent for the rest of their lives.
A lot to unpack with this well-known story, like you said. Great horned owls is what they were always saying it was. Such a stretch, isn't it? There were 15 great horned owls hanging out.
That's the thing, right? You see one owl, and that's kind of a rare occurrence.
Some people have never seen an owl.
Yeah, I've only seen an owl like where I could see the whole body in the zoo, and like I've heard owls in my backyards. They sound crazy, like they sound like some sort of monster. But yeah, I've only seen one. Right, to see that many in the whole family reporting the same number, that sounds insane.
It was actually a Project Blue Book case, wasn't this?
Yes, Project Blue Book determined that it was not aliens because that's what Project Blue Book does.
Regardless of anything that happens, you go in there and say it's something else.
Yeah.
This is a really popular one. You aren't kidding. This is like at a time, too, where that kind of stuff was really starting to
pop off.
Yeah. Yeah, like 50s, really big time. It was 50s, right?
Yeah, 1955.
A lot of people are commenting that they actually started firing at them, which is actually, I remember them saying that like their house was full of bullet holes and stuff.
Yeah, they fired their guns at them, yeah. Lee Sutton, Elmer Sutton, and the guy who was visiting definitely did. And I believe the wife also fired at them.
Some people just say they're intoxicated, though. They try to write it off as that.
So that
the police that investigated didn't come to that conclusion, though, I don't think, if I remember.
No, they did not. And also the kids also reported seeing these things as well.
How does mass hysteria work?
Mass hysteria is a very it exists. So like someone could say they saw something and then suddenly someone who is susceptible to it will also see it. It normally is some people who are sick or under some sort of duress already will experience it. It is unusual, though, for it to happen so fast and with people of such varying, like I said, this happened to the adults and the children. It wasn't just one or the other.
They really tried to write them off. There was meteor showers going on that night. There was great horned owls have yellow eyes.
Right. That's the thing. Like they said, meteor shower. Why do you bring up meteor showers if you're so sure it was the owls? But they always do. They always bring up both things. It's like, why would meteor showers lead them to believe that there was a metallic creature with long, spindly arms and legs that was 3 feet tall? This doesn't make sense.
Let me ask you this. How do you think this would be handled today? Knowing that the last, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years have been pretty much more has come out about this.
Right. Yeah, you see a lot of declassified Navy UFO sightings and stuff like that now, where it becomes like, what have we all been seeing this whole time? And why is it that you have all this classified information on it? Yeah, I would think that today, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't be written off so quickly.
I agree with that. How would you handle this situation if it was happening to you? Would you be firing through your house too?
Oh, yeah. If I see a bunch of these things smashing against my window, yeah, I'm going to open fire.
Same here.
Even if it's an owl, I'm going to shoot an owl that's like smashing into my doors.
Yeah, like smacking my door. There's 15 of them, 15 freaking owls.
Yeah.
I've only seen 2 or 3 probably in my life.
Yeah.
That's just being in the woods at night. My dad used to make me go hunting.
Some guy had a joke about it. It's like, how many times do you have to see something that is kind of normal before you start to get terrified? And it's like, you see an owl, that's like, oh, that's kind of neat. I saw an owl today. You start to see 2 or 3 owls, then you call your mom and start telling her to pray. Right?
Yeah, that's not normal.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder how close the nearest house was.
I didn't look that up. I should have. I should have seen how close their neighbors were because I'm sure it's documented somewhere.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange phenomenon that I don't know. I don't know what I'd do if I experienced it because it's just such an oddball thing. It's truly, it's just crazy and mesmerizing. I think it's kind of like it has that like black dog effect, right? Like you don't really know.
You saw the dog, didn't you? The black dog. I've heard truckers talk about it on the yard. They say it comes to take everything away from you.
And it did.
It took everything away from those people. People probably thought they were crazy forever.
Did you see him playing with the cards in the background this time?
Yeah, he played those cards, yeah. But it seems like people were jerked towards those people.
They did, yeah. But, that was the 50s, right? You had to cover, if there was something going on, they had to cover it up because, it was the Cold War and things were crazy. You didn't want there to be talk of monsters and, look stupid in front of the communists. It was that's what it was like,
Aliens with the big eyes.
Yeah.
No, just the black dog.
Yeah.
Someone said if they see 15 owls, they're calling max headroom.
I don't know if he'll be able to help you.
Or here's another person says they would call Gene, the Kodiak bear guy.
Oh, Gene Mo? He'd take care of it. Even if they were aliens, he would take care of it.
Yeah, with his bare hands.
Yeah.
He punched the bear and ended its life.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's still the craziest thing we've talked about on here.
And he still has the bear hanging up. Just think, if they could have got their hands on one of these aliens, they could still have the alien hanging up.
Yeah. Yeah, Gene Mo was stuffed an alien for him.
Yeah, taxidermy that thing. That's a well-known one, you're right. That's a super popular one. It's a good one, though. It is freaky. It's creepy. It's like, I know that things could happen where people would still, they're at that house, start thinking they were imagining it, but that's like a large-scale thing.
Yeah.
And it's not like this was like a 15-minute thing, too. Like, they were terrorizing these creatures all night.
Yeah, it was hours.
And I wonder, if they had called the cops, how quick they got there. I wonder and all that,
So they left their, what I remember reading is they left their house about 3:30 and went to town. And so it was like 3:30 in the morning and they went to town right after the creatures stopped attacking the house. And then shortly after people showed up, sheriff's station or whatever.
They probably couldn't call, could they?
Yeah, this is, 55, there's no way to call. And especially out in the boonies like that, there's probably no even landlines. So.
You just try to hunker down for the night and then try to get help the next day.
Yeah. Hope you don't run out of bullets.
You think about that. Yeah, 1955. Probably no landline out to there. I don't know what the technology was even like then, but this is a rural Kentucky, right? So
yeah. So you take the current level and you drop it down a peg. And
yeah. They probably still don't have landlines there. Poor people. Anyway, I'm just kidding. People in Kentucky, I love you. No one would believe you, though. There's nothing you could say to make anybody believe you that happened to you.
Not at all.
Makes you wonder how many people had things happen to them that just don't say anything because they're like, nobody would ever believe me.
Probably a lot until the anonymous nature of the internet came up when you could just say, hey, this happened to me. And then you don't have to be having your name attached to it so they can't make fun of you and shit.
I will say one thing. There's so many more cameras and stuff these days that makes you wonder why there's not something completely viral of something captured.
That's fair.
I guess you see a lot of Bigfoot stuff too, though, but...
Yeah, I see lots of lights in the sky and stuff like that.
Yeah, UFOs are still captured, and there's some things where they're the Congress and the governments recognize that they have no explanation for something, right? But
yeah,
still, though, makes you wonder why somebody hasn't got one of these little black creatures on camera.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Them great horned owls really stick together. They had the whole population there in that property.
A herd of them.
Yeah, a herd of owls. It's kind of terrifying in its own, right?
Yeah.
Attacking your house, man. If I had a herd of owls attacking my house, I'd be firing through the walls too.
Yeah.
I understand completely. Okay, let's see what somebody else said here. Even smaller stories people don't believe. Bill Murray walked up to someone's table and ate their fries and said, no one will believe you. Who knows if this story is real? Yeah, I guess that's true, right? I mean, that's don't know.
Yeah, funny.
But the one thing about this particular story, though, it was mainstream. I think, just like any other story, though, it changed over time where eventually it was little green monsters, right? Even though they weren't described like that at all.
Yeah.
But this story made national attention.
Yeah, I mean, this was right after Roswell happened, not too long after. So, people were on guard for alien stuff. And this pops up, and it's big news.
Jeff Townsend Media. CG, good night.
And the question is, do I stay here? Will you be back? Are you gonna come back? Will you be back? Are you coming back?